What's up everybody, welcome back to a brand new video on Lex Alexis. Today we've got a bit of a strange one regarding our score predictions. I'm actually releasing my predictions one day earlier than normal on the Wednesday. Reason being, we actually have got one game taking place tonight that will be involved in this next game week. We've got 7 games to predict rather than the usual 12. If there are any Premier League games being played, they'll be predicted on the left hand side of the screen right now. So regarding score predictions, please make sure you do leave your score predictions, especially for the championship, because if you predict those and predict any of those correctly, you will earn points for the Let's Alexis Football Prediction League, which will be updated day in and day out, and you will get a really big update going in around March time. So keep your eyes peeled in that period where we really start finding the conclusion of who is going to potentially win the whole thing of a Let's Alexis Football Prediction League. If you guys like what you see, please smash the like button. 50 likes will be tremendously appreciative for this video. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please do so. It really does help the growth of this channel too, and please also share the channel too. All 3 of these things really do help the growth of this channel. But without any further ado, let's start predicting this bizarre term of events, which is week 29. So we can actually predict today's game first. Leeds versus Norwich. Big game for both, because Norwich with a win, they can sneak into the top 6 momentarily with this result going their way. But Leeds have got more motivation on their side, because right now they are now starting to improve their form a bit. They have got a chance to close the gap on Ipswich, following the fact that Ipswich could not beat Leicester on the Monday. So I think Leeds at this moment of time, they're going to be really hoping for Ipswich and Southampton to stop picking up points, because if they carry on their ways, especially with the options that they got, I do see Leeds being a very competitive team within that top 6 region. Norwich are now slowly but surely improving. They've got a little bit of a run going on at this moment of time. Definitely wasn't as strong as the start of the season, but it's strong enough that it's propelled them up to the table, and it's really got them touching distance actually from that top 6 place, bizarrely. With a prediction here, I would not be surprised if we see a draw. And for me, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this game. I think whilst we may see Leeds feel the overwhelming favours being at home, I think Norwich's improvement might even things out. So I'm going to play it safe and go for a draw. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. We're now going to go to one of the 2 games on the Saturday. First one is Millwall versus Preston. Millwall, after having good form, have now lost back-to-back games, and I wouldn't say falling back to square one, but when you do lose back-to-back games in a manner that what they did, losing to Middlesbrough by 2 goals and then also losing it against Queen's Park Rangers by 2 goals, it's not really a good look for this Millwall side, and they definitely took their eye off the ball in their last 2 games or so. Preston have been a little bit up and down with their form. What I have seen is, especially at home, they've been a little bit more consistent at picking up results. I do think they were a little bit unlucky not to get anything more against Leeds. They managed to hold them to a draw for most of the game. Obviously, a controversial handball decision was given against Preston. Honestly, I don't really know what I'm going to predict for either one of these sides, because both these sides are not doing too well with their form. So I think naturally it's going to ensure that both of these teams could potentially struggle and be low in confidence. I'm going to therefore go for a draw again, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw this time. I do think that this will occur between these 2 sides, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. The next game to predict is Sunderland versus Stoke, and I tell you what, it's 2 entirely different fortunes with managers at this moment of time, but it tells you that Michael Beale has not really delivered on his job. He's only delivered 2 wins since he's taken over as Sunderland manager, and ultimately they were flirting with the top 6 when he took over, and now they're just getting a little bit further away from that top 6 conversation each game as it goes, so I can understand Sunderland fans' frustration. Stoke have gone on a nice unbeaten one until it was ended in their last game against Birmingham. I do think Stoke, for the way that they're playing, I do see some positives since Schumacher's come in, and I think we'll see more of those here. As a prediction, I don't know. I think Stoke can win this one, but it's going to sound very boring and predictable again. But I'm actually going to go for a draw. And just FYI, not all 7 games I'm predicting 1-1 draws, but for the first 3, coincidentally, I think they'll both end in draws, and I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. Let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. You may think I've gone mad with my predictions at this point. The next game to predict is the one random Sunday game that we've got. And that is a relegation 6-pointer with QPR at home against Huddersfield Town. It's so crucial for both teams this game, especially if you are QPR. So QPR have actually won for the first time in over 8 to 9 games with Cifuentes. They were having a really poor rut of their form, but they picked up a very crucial win against Millwall last weekend. And because of this, and when Huddersfield played their game against Blackburn, they only managed to draw. It meant that QPR actually closed the gap on to Huddersfield, and they could really start applying the pressure if they do get 3 points here. So right now, I think it's a win or die approach that QPR have got to take into this game. But then when you flip it on its head for Huddersfield, a win for them there, it really sets them in a good position. It doesn't give them in a safe position, don't get me wrong. The gap between them and QPR will still not be entirely large if Huddersfield do pick up 3 points against their closest relegation rivals. But it does give them that good spring step, potentially kick on to the final part of the season. But a defeat there for Huddersfield against QPR will definitely make things very spicy in the relegation picture. As a prediction, I'm going to go for that extra spice in the championship. I think this championship season is built for that, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to QPR. I do think with some of the match winners they've got in Willock and Chair, I think they can turn the game on its head. I'm going to go 2-1 QPR, which will make things very interesting in the relegation picture. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Not many games to predict left, but next we're going to go for Tuesday's game. So let's go for Coventry versus Bristol City first. This, I think, is going to be very interesting, actually. So Coventry improving their form so much to the point where they now are looking a little bit more comfortably placed within the top 6, which is absolutely unbelievable considering where Coventry were a couple of game weeks ago. They're facing a Bristol City side where they've been a little bit up and down with their form in the league, but have recently produced great FA Cup heroics. They're one of the very few championship sides to have beaten a Premier League side to get through into the next round. And I'm really, really pleased for Bristol City for that outcome. Now, I do think going into this game, I have a little bit more confidence with Coventry at this moment of time based on their fantastic form. I mean, last weekend, they beat top of the league, Leicester City, and they were just continuing with this form, picking up points where you probably wouldn't back them to, and still against tough teams like Sheffield Wednesday away from home as well. They're finding a way, and I do think against a really bit up and down Bristol City side, I think they'll still find a way around them as well. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Coventry. I think that will be the outcome for this game. So this is my first non-1-1 draw in this game. Let me know what you think about prediction in the comments down below. Next up, for Tuesday games that we're going to be predicting is Leicester versus Watford. This does intrigue me going into this. So Leicester, last game round, they played against Ipswich Town, only managed to draw. They led pretty early-ish in that game, like they did in the reverse fixture against Ipswich as well. But again, Ipswich striking late on, and it was actually Sarmiento who got his first goal for Ipswich Town, and what a crucial goal that is turning out to be, because without that goal, Ipswich will be sitting in third right now. Now, it does mean Ipswich's chances of second are hanging on by a thread. But since we're talking about Leicester here, they've still got a 7-point gap to Ipswich Town, which I do still think is catchable. But based on the squad value and the depth, I do think Leicester will start pulling away and around this time. Swansea's a strange one. I don't really see where Swansea are approaching as a club, and I don't really know what direction this side is going into at the moment. I think Luke Williams, he's going to have his challenges taken over as Swansea manager, considering the changes it has gone under. And I do think within this game, it'll be Luke Williams' toughest challenge so far. And I do think it's going to be a bit of a step too far for Swansea to get a result. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to Leicester. I see them slightly blowing them away a little bit based on the squad value and depth. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Final game to predict, which is exactly a week today on Wednesday. It is no other than Sheffield Wednesday playing against Watford. This does also interest me as well. So Sheffield Wednesday didn't pick up a good result at all against Coventry, and obviously for other circumstances not related to the football pitch. Sheffield Wednesday made a bit of an embarrassment for themselves last weekend as well. And the players especially will be wanting to put that right going into this game here. And I do think still, with them losing that game against Coventry, they did show signs on the pitch that they showed great performance. When you think about Watford's chances, you really got to be considering that they are now really building up their form. I think their front players, are now starting to get a little bit more clinical and cutting edge about them. And I do think as a result of that, it has meant they are now slowly climbing up the table alongside with Norwich. Now, with this game, I think this is going to be very tricky to predict. I could see potentially Sheffield Wednesday really making Watford frustrated. But at the same time, I feel if Watford score early, I think it's going to be a bit of a goal fest. As a prediction, I'm actually going to go for a latter. And I'm going to go for a wacky scoreline. Since I've been playing it a little bit safe in my first couple of ones, I think you've got to throw one crazy result in there. Let's go for a very random 4-1 away victory to, of course, Watford. I think it's going to be an interesting one, to say the least. And whether it's going to be the outcome, who knows? We'll find out next week. These are my predictions, guys. If you like them, let me know in the comments down below. And make sure you predict the 7 championship games that are going to be taking place for this weekend. I am really intrigued seeing how the season is going week by week now, and I'm actually really hooked by it. Now, I will be trying to make content this past month and a bit. I have got a really big exam coming up, which has been a lot mixed with procrastination within it, so I'm really going to be trying to really go for it within this next couple of months or so. Whether I'll be a bit on and off on the channel, who knows, but I will be hoping, and I can really assure you guys I'll be trying my best to get these videos out in the highest quality as possible. So if you guys like what you see, please smash the like button. It really does help. Please do hit the subscribe button too, and please share as well. All 3 of these things are free to do, and they really do help the growth of this channel. Thank you guys for watching again, for your continued support. You guys are legendary for joining in this video, and as always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.